Om Namo Narayan.
Om Namo Narayan. Namaste.
Namaste. This question came in for Satsang. Does the sense of experience of one always precede the zero state of consciousness?
Most often, yes. In fact, the lower samadhi experience of being one with everything can take place pretty early in the journey. Quite often people receive diksha and very early on they will have this expanded state of consciousness just to show where one is headed towards. But usually, it does come before the state of realization, although it wouldn't be unheard of for realization to take place without that expanded one experience first. Nothing's out of the realm of possibility.
Okay. Another question that came in is concerning the availability of realization for the mentally challenged or minimal consciousness individuals.
I think it depends on the type of a disability that they have, what's functioning in the brain and what's not, how much they're understanding. Some, I really wonder if they're just so internalized and that they are a much higher state of consciousness than people are recognizing or realizing. There was one in general that they thought that this person was not speaking and they thought that they were mentally challenged. And then come to find out when they gave him a board and he started writing out these things, that actually he was a realized being.
Oh.
So one can't always tell, it just depends. Like I said, consciousness programs the brain, but if there's a problem in the brain wiring, then sometimes they may be limited as to their functions within the body.
So I guess it would be a catastrophe if they gave shock therapy to one of these people.
Yeah, that would not be a good thing whatsoever for them to receive shock therapy, although I doubt that one in that type of a state would receive a shock therapy.
Last question that came in on the Satsang question. In the book Truth Unbound, it's mentioned that after realization, pain is still felt, but there is no attachment to it. So the question is, can you explain the emotional and physical pain can you explain how emotional and physical pain affect your body, since there is no you left after realization?
Okay. Yeah, after realization one can feel pain, but there's no attachment to it. There's no aversion to it. So one is not in suffering, even though the body can be in pain. As far as the emotional side of things, everything is like a blip on the screen. It's there during the moment, and the minute that moment passes, it's over and done with. So one does not hold on to those things. There is no more mental suffering, which equates out with body suffering due to emotional attachment. There is no more emotional attachment. This does not mean that when you get sadhakas that are extremely negative, that it's not a draw on the Guru's energy. It is a draw on the Guru's energy, and it can affect their physical form. But as far as mentally, there's no attachment to anything, okay?
People do seem to think that a guru is like a robot. They can make a doormat out of them, because they don't feel anything anyway. Whereas, logically, for those not enlightened, you'd look and you'd have to say, if one is enlightened, the heart is expanded to the fullest extent, for whatever that means. Therefore, the enlightened would have to feel even more deeply with love and all.
One does feel emotions. They can feel it more deeply than they did before realization. But as I said before, it's momentary. These things are momentary. When something passes, one could be in anger. When something passes, you can't hold anger. You can't remain angry. It's impossible to do once one is in realization. So any emotion is there, but it's pure emotion, and it's in that moment alone. That's it. And then it passes. It's like dropping a pebble into a pond. You see the waves that go out from the pebble, and then it goes into stillness again. So that's what it's like to be in the type of emotions that remain after realization.
Okay.
Thank you.
Om Namo Narayana.
Namaste and Om Namo Narayana.